Hey, what's up guys? This is Matt from More Music Sessions. Today we're going to be learning about saxophone. So this is beginner saxophone class. We're going to be covering a lot of the basics, fundamentals that go into with getting an initial sound and talking about the first note we can play. So starting out, what I want us to do is to grab a reed, all right? And as you go further down your journey with understanding reeds, you'll learn which gauge is best for you. You know, I'm playing on a size 3 reed, but a good place to start with is 2.5s or even 2s. So those are pretty thin. Those are good to start out with just getting comfortable with just adjusting to get the reed to vibrate. Because in order to get a sound out of the saxophone, we need the reed to vibrate while blowing into the instrument. I'm gonna start soaking my reed. And this is usually how I assemble my saxophone in general here too. Putting on my reed, putting on my neck strap. All right. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna first get a sound out of a few things that are on your saxophone. So we're gonna take our reed, we're gonna take our mouthpiece, we're gonna take our ligature, and we're gonna take our neck, and we're gonna talk about our embouchure. So our embouchure is how we get our control for our sound. So if you look in the mirror and you see yourself in the mirror, that is what you want to get to the point, which is your embouchure, where it's just natural, right? But there's a few things that you can think about with getting it in a good position to have the most success. So to get a good embouchure, you want to think of keeping your corners of your mouth in. Think of an O face, all right? We're going to overlap that lower lip over the bottom teeth. We're going to rest our top teeth on top of the mouthpiece. We'll take about halfway or half of the mouthpiece into our mouth. And starting out too, we can experiment, take a little bit more mouthpiece, take a little less, but halfway into the mouthpiece is the sweet spot, is what you want to shoot for. So we'll be talking about a lot of different sweet spots going forward to get, the most potential with your playing. Let's put the rest of our horn together. So we got our reed. We got our neck, put to the side for a sec. Our mouthpiece guard, I'll put in my pocket. So we're gonna twist the mouthpiece on to the neck. And we'll talk more further in other lessons about, our pitch and getting a good tone with adjusting with playing your instrument. But a good spot to put your mouthpiece when putting it on the cork is about halfway into the cork too. Just like I said, halfway into the mouthpiece where you're playing. When you do that too, a good thing to have around is cork grease. All right, I didn't put any on right now, but especially with new corks with instruments, if you put a little bit of cork grease on top of the cork, that helps with being able to put the mouthpiece on the cork with more ease, because it can be a little tricky with twisting it on there. So I would recommend picking up the cork grease that is in like a chapstick form, so you can just kind of rub it on there, and you don't have to get it necessarily all over your fingers and rub it on there. But look into picking up some cork grease, just to have around. You don't have to put it on every time, but every once in a while is good. So now we're gonna put our reed onto the mouthpiece. All right. We'll wet the reed. And this thing right here is your ligature, all right? So this thing holds your reed in place, okay? It might take a little getting used to starting out, putting your reed on with the ligature and the mouthpiece, but be patient with yourself. With anything in music, it's just a matter of getting used to. I tell all my students that nothing is hard, just unfamiliar. So keep getting more familiar with your instrument. And music is another language, right? So we didn't speak full sentences when we were little babies. We had to crawl before we walked. We got to walk before we run. So keep coming back to it. It's all about consistency, and then you'll understand and have more ease and effortlessness with your instrument, right? So we got our reed. Now the sweet spot with placing your reed is you want to put your reed just a hair below the mouthpiece if you're looking at your mouthpiece dead on, right? Yeah, here's your mouthpiece, ligature, neck. All right, so I'm going to put my reed on. We're going to slide it down. And then, yeah, make sure you can kind of see just a hair of the mouthpiece. Make sure I can see it clearly. And then we're going to tighten the ligature. And some mouthpieces will come with even a line that gives you indication of where the ligature needs to be. But basically, if they don't give you that, you want to place it where this spot right here, where the reed is the heart of the reed. All right? So you want to place it at the heart of the reed. So we got our reed on, we got the ligature tightened, and even the tightening rods too that you have right here, they can be placed on this spot of the mouthpiece or on the flip side. I prefer putting it over here with this ligature because if I have it on the flip side, it gets caught in my beard. So do whatever's comfortable for you, but make sure that it's at least secure and it's holding the reed in place. All right. So let's get an initial sound with just the mouthpiece, the reed, and the neck. All right. So what we're gonna do, like I said, with having a good embouchure, how you place your face to get a good sound, corners in, O face, overlap that lower lip, place the top teeth on top of the mouthpiece, don't bite down, all right? And then we're gonna blow into the mouthpiece. We're gonna go, take a quick deep breath, right? And what you want to avoid too is puffing out your cheeks, all right? In lessons as we go further in our journey, we'll talk more about how we can use our air, all right? But one thing you want to get in the habit of too is, sitting up nice and tall and making sure you're taking a quick deep breath from your stomach through your mouth. And when you take a quick deep breath, and you're blowing into your instrument, you're gonna feel your stomach caving in. See if you can push out your gut. So we're not gonna blow out our cheeks, we're gonna blow out our stomach, because when we do that, that drops our diaphragm, it expands our lungs more, and we're able to get the full potential with our airstream. So keep coming back to that, keep reminding yourself of that, and it will become more natural as you keep doing it. So let's get an initial sound, all right? So, like I said, we're gonna put the mouthpiece halfway into your mouth, overlap that lower lip, rest the top teeth on top of the mouthpiece, don't puff the cheeks out. And, saxophone, not so much, but especially if you're playing clarinet, you wanna think of a flat chin. That helps with saxophone as well, but more so, I would say, with clarinet. But check this out. We're going to get basically kind of a duck call sound. All right? So, 1, 2, 3. So you see how I did that? Keeping the air stream going. You want to think of having a fast or like a beam of air going into your instrument. So taking a quick deep breath is what we want to get in the habit of as well. All right? Here it is again. We got. Hear how I'm doing that? Keep that consistency going with your air. Keep creating good habits when you're first starting out, because that will help with making sure that you have good technique going forward. So now that we've got a sound, let's put the rest of the instrument together. So here's the body of your saxophone, okay? And a lot of times too, what I'll do is I'll put my reed on last when I'm assembling my instrument all together. But since we were just practicing getting a sound to start out, we got all this together right now, and we can just put it on the body so we can have everything together. But an important thing to remember when you're putting the neck on is you want to make sure the mouthpiece or the reed is facing you, where it's away from, this is the bell of your instrument, and you don't want to twist the neck all the way around, all right? You want to basically just shimmy it on so you can, so you can avoid bending this thing right here, which is your octave key. We'll talk about more going forward here. So yeah, placing the mouthpiece and the reed basically got around where this thing right here is placed, right? This is your thumb rest, okay? So yeah, you want to be placing your left-hand thumb on top of our thumb rest, all right? And let's go ahead and put our neck strap secure on this thing right here, all right? So you see how we got this little hoop that we got right here? So this is where we secure the neck strap, all right? And when you're not playing, you can place your bell of your instrument in your lap like this, right? So yeah, you want to get used to putting it in resting position if you're not playing, because with playing in general, you know, you want to make sure that you're not doing awkward things with placing your instrument, because the neck strap can kind of hang down. You know, you want to make sure that, yeah, you're in a good spot to where you're not going to the instrument, you're having the instrument come to you, finding that sweet spot with your posture, okay? So let's talk about how we get the first note with playing saxophone, okay? And I'll either put it up on this video that you can see, and I'll have an attachment that you can look at as you're practicing. But the first note we're going to learn is D, okay? And in the musical alphabet, if you're not familiar, musical alphabet has 7 letters, all right? We just have A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, all right? And besides those 7 letters, in the Western music scale, we have 5 other notes that we use, which we'll talk about going forward. Those are our sharp and flat notes. If you're looking at a piano, like over here, the white keys are the regular letter notes. The black keys get 2 names. There are sharp or flat notes, but they're the same letters. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right, is what we're using, okay? So with playing the D note that I want you to play, we're gonna place our fingers like this. Let's talk about how we number our fingers first, okay? So the way we're gonna number our fingers is our index finger is our first finger, okay? And that's true with guitar as well. If you're playing piano, your thumb is your first finger. So your index finger, we've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. In either hand, we number in that way. So your left hand, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. And then your right hand, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? And with your left hand, what we have to watch out for is, you see how there's a key right at the top right here. We don't want to place the index finger on that key. We want to put it right here. So our first finger goes over here. And your saxophone might look like mine a little bit. It might even be, it might look a little bit different too, all right? But make sure you're finding the spot where, if you're putting your first finger down, it has this keypad placed down where it's not as small as this one at the top right here. All right. So first finger goes right here, and then there's a smaller key right after your first finger, that you want to skip over with your second finger, and we're going to put our second finger right here. All right. Third finger goes on top right here. Fourth finger, we're going to rest on top of these keys. Okay. So 1, 2, 3 is what we're going to be putting down for the D note we're going to be playing. Now the right hand, we're going to be placing your first finger on top of this key. So we've got 1, 2, 3. All right. Another thing to be mindful of is with your left hand, you're going to keep your left hand thumb on the thumb rest, but you're going to roll into this key that we've got right here. This is your octave key. Okay. You see how this lifts up the thing that I was talking about earlier, right? So yeah, we're going to roll into this note. Okay. So in order to get a D note, we're going to push down your fingers 1, 2, 3 of the left hand with the octave key. And then we're going to go 1, 2, 3 of the right hand with these keys that we've got down right here. There's another thing down here that we've got that is a thumb rest for your right hand that you want to place your hand down on. All right. So again, 1, 2, 3 of the left hand, octave key. 1, 2, 3 of the right hand. We're going to be putting down all 7 of those keys at the same time. Okay. And one thing that we can do too, which every musician should have, is play along with a metronome. So a metronome is basically a click track that keeps your timing. And going forward in different lessons, we'll talk more about rhythm. All right. But what we're going to do as an exercise, and this is something that you can always do at whatever level you are as a saxophone player, is practice long tones. Okay. So long tones are basically just holding out the note and working on getting a good sound, doing all the fundamentals we talked about with, placing your embouchure, keeping your airstream consistent and steady. All right. And yeah, if we put our metronome on 80 BPM, we can hold the note out for 4 counts and rest for 4 counts. The sheet music that I'm going to be putting on this video shows you where we write D for sheet music, which we'll talk more about going forward here too, all right? Because when you read sheet music, yeah, you're either dealing with line notes or space notes, okay? So D is a line note. You probably heard of Every Good Boy Does Fine before, right? Or Every Good Boy Deserves Fudge. I like to think of Every Good Burger Deserves Fries, all right? That's a mnemonic we use to remember the order of the notes when you're reading sheet music for the line notes. E, G, B, D, and F. So D is on the 4th line. And then besides line notes, we have space notes. For treble clef, which we read in for music and for saxophone, in the space we spell out face is how we remember the space notes. All right? But we'll get into that more as we go forward. Let's simply hold out our first note with the metronome. All right? So, yeah, sit up nice and tall. Have the horn come to you. All right? Making sure that you're as comfortable as you can. Taking a quick deep breath. All right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then octave key. All right? So D is going to sound like this. Hold it out for 4, rest for 4. All right? 2, ready. 2, 3. 2, 3. Rinse and repeat. You just keep doing that over and over again, you'll get more and more familiar with getting just a general sound. Another thing I'll mention to you too is before you even blow into your horn, you want to think of saying D. All right. Some teachers may say ta, but D I like to tell you because If we're pretending my hand is your tongue, D places your tongue in a position to where you have the most ideal air support. Because it lifts the back part of your tongue. And when we tongue the note, that's what we call articulation. All right? So think of saying D when you start the note. All right? So try that out for me this week. And on the next video, we'll get into some other notes.